So let's start off with a little bit about telling us your background, where you're coming from, and maybe some things that you're really interested in.
My name is Matt Champion. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer for BevMo, regional California, Washington, Arizona-based specialty retailer. We specialize in wine and fine spirits, 162 stores throughout, combination of e-com as well as standard brick and mortar retail. I'm a 15-year-ish veteran of marketing in the retail space. Started with companies like Procter & Gamble. I've worked on businesses like Walgreens and across CPG brands, most recently with Amazon, where I managed Amazon Canada. And now I'm here at BevMo here in California, and it's been a fantastic transition, and what a year to be at BevMo.
When you think about personalization, how important is it for a brand like BevMo, and how and where did this whole personalization journey for you start?
The piece with personalization is that you have two aspects of it. You can be over-personalized and not helpful, telling someone that their Facebook feed just changed and that they've broken up with, call it their boyfriend, and you want to give them a wider, brighter smile is not helpful. But if you have personalization that aids an assortment, is timely and is relevant, it makes all the difference to a customer because it feels like you understand me without being invasive to me. And that's where personalization meets that sweet spot of both marketing and the art and science of consumer interaction. A lot of these pieces, when I was at Amazon, when I came to BevMo and learned they'd already brought you on board as a partner, and then we tightened some of those pieces about how we were going to do personalization and brought it on board for the website. It changed everything about how we communicate one-on-one with our consumers, from dynamic email to adjacency assortment to what we're going to do from, hey, just recommended for you, all the way to it's your birthday type of purchase plays. It's changed everything about how we talk and relate with our customer.
All these different use cases, from birthday to recommended for you, all across all these different channels. So maybe let's take a step back and let's talk about some of the trends that you're seeing in personalization and data. When you think about it, how important is collecting your own first party data and managing all these different digital channels that you have? And how do you find putting all of them together work? And how do you succeed in that?
What's interesting is personal data can be radioactive, and it can be too much, and you have too many things, and there's a lot of regulations around it. And as a customer, you want to be very careful about what individuals are in businesses and countries or places are collecting about you and what they know, what they share, and what they don't share. So one of the most important things for us is that we don't share our customers' data. We use our customers' data internally in order to help with what are good assortment choices. So you really like Kim Crawford wine and you want to have something that's like that. Here's something that looks like. And you feel good about knowing that we've got a little bit of your shopping behavior because we're giving you things that are helpful, they're solution-based, they're not invasive. Because one of the things that we've seen this year, and this is what a unique year 2020 was, and as we go into 2021, we're seeing a lot of the same pieces. Consumers are shifting so much of their behavior to online shopping. We've seen double-digit growth in our delivery businesses, and our e-com has now become a substantial part of our base business. And the reason for that is we have a great experience where customers can come find what they're looking for. And we don't use that data in a way that then becomes invasive and we're pushing something on them. It's a very push-pull type of model where if you're searching, we'll help you find. Once we see you and you come back and we recognize that it's you, we want to present things to you that are helpful. You're learning to make gin, beverages. It's not helpful if we're, giving you brown liquor assortment pieces. Or if you really like making margaritas and we've got limes and other things, it's not helpful if we're trying to give you beer as well. So it's picking the right assortment, helping the customer on that journey, and having a conversation with them that's wanted as opposed to being forced upon. And this is how we've taken all of our use of our data. We talk about, how do we help the customer come one more time, and when they come, they're delighted. And that's what we do with our email. It's what we do with our web experience. It's what we do with our in-store experience. And it's helping customers just find that right balance between they understand me and I feel good about it, as opposed to they know too much about me and I don't like that. And it's a fine line to tread, but I think it's important as we go forward within the digital space that retailers are respectful of what they have, because it is a privilege to have data. It's a privilege to work with data. It is not a right.
There's just so much going on between all the different checkouts and customers and digital channels. Where do you think the biggest challenges are when it comes to the personalization, other than just working with the data, the data and making sense of it? Where do you find most of the challenges are when you start working with maybe some other marketing vendors, or as you're thinking about what's next on the horizon for BevMo?
Well, that's a great question. I think that the most important part of this is how do you start to identify and bring in using kind of omnichannel is an overused term, but as I start thinking through what I'm going to do from a digital standpoint, how I'm going to leverage Google versus how I'm going to leverage other ad venues that are in the digital space, whether it be Facebook or these other pieces, and how you're going to start to do the different communication among targeted consumer sets, because personalization allows you both to get a demographic read, an age read, a consumption read, and there are so many venues to be able to leverage that data within the marketplace that you have to be respectful of it. I used, the example earlier of, I don't want to go into Facebook with someone who just changed their status on, I broke up, in my relationship, and give them, a white strips type of advertisement and get a brighter, smile. That's the worst thing that you can possibly do. And it feels wrong. So leveraging data within partners, knowing what their skill sets are and how consumers react to that, that's the most important part and the challenge of it. Because you can doesn't mean you should. You have to be respectful of the conversation. When you're looking at digital ads, you can now target down to the zip code level using your customer data, and you have to be very smart about how you personalize that choice. We look at it from a couple standpoints. What's the spend associated with it is a good investment choice against this, because you could do a carpet bombing technique, and many people do, and they just throw money at the problem as opposed to be smart, conscientious, and communicate with both new and like new customers so that you can bring in demand creation tools in the digital space is challenging, and the ROIs are always challenging. But if you have the right message set, it's very easy. Customers are always looking for the right thing, and it doesn't always have to be new. But when it is new and it's relevant and it's convenient, you break down those trial barriers to first trip or to repeat trip or to increase consumption so much easier. So it goes into respect the customer, look at the channels and what they can bring to it, balance through how they're doing that as part of your communication model and what you believe in as a core capacity and competency within your CRM. Do you want to over communicate? Do you want to leverage it in order to sell and monetize, which we don't do? We leverage it from the standpoint of how are we going to grow and have a relationship and build our customer base through great recommendations, increased convenience, price parity or superiority. How do we work on the fundamentals of a customer relationship so it's a delightful experience and you feel both welcomed and wanted?
What would you consider yourself? A beer person, a whiskey person, or spirits person, or are you into wines?
Living in California, I've lived all over the country. I grew up in California. I've just recently come back after, a lifetime away. I will say that disproportionately, I'm actually a sparkling wine person. It is, in my mind, joy in a bottle. It's something you can have on a Tuesday. On our business cards, you have to put, what is your favorite beverage? Sparkling wine for me is one of my favorite things. Champagne, if it happens to be from France or somewhere else, but from California, I always view a sparkling wine, a little joy in a bottle, and nothing sounds quite the same as when you open up a bottle of Champers, or champagne as you may call it.
That's totally true. I'm such a big believer of it as well. Let's maybe look a little bit more towards the future and think about, where do you think retail and e-commerce is headed with personalization? And when you think about digital consumer journeys, what are some upcoming trends you think that people will have to start tackling or have to adopt in order to really thrive in this ecosystem?
I think that this is one of the most important things. Consumer behaviors changed dramatically in the last year as consumers have adopted more platforms that allow for delivery. They allow for personalization of that delivery space. They allow for, repeat, if you will. I think that this is going to be the space where we have continued growth. You've seen it with Amazon. You've seen it with shopping and delivery. It's a combination now of consumers having convenience with what they're hoping and looking for. The next barriers, and this just goes into last mile, it goes into how do we get it there faster? Can I get it in 30 minutes? Can I get it in under an hour? What is the price cost associated with that? Do I have to have a giant basket to do it? Do I trust the drivers that are bringing it to me to have everything in it? These are the factors that the industry has struggled in general with in retail, as well as our on-demand delivery partners have worked their way through this. And I think that the quality, the speed, the trust, the reliability of all of these things is going to be just improved exponentially in the next year. And you're going to start to see some very, very different buying behaviors because of it. This will change how customers shop. It's easier to put things into a digital cart and look at it. You've seen this with Amazon. You've seen it now with BOPUS, or buy online, pick up near store. Delivery now will start to take over that space where everyone is ordered, had expedited checkout, go pick it up. But delivery, I think, is going to be that frontier where it makes all the difference. It's the biggest delineator on, went from 3 to 5 day shipping. We went down to 2-day shipping. We're now in 1-day shipping. Now we're in, same day shipping. Now we're in delivery in 2 hours, delivery in 1 hour, delivery in 30 minutes. This turns into a convenience factor that changes how you think about both meal preparation, guests coming over, and what you're going to do. Instead of, oh, I need to go shopping and spend an hour in a round trip, you can literally continue to do what you're doing, clean the house before guests come over or the family comes home. And whatever it may be, from alcohol to food to other things, then it's delivered, and you have faith and confidence that it's both going to be fresh, it's going to be correct, and it's going to be on time. This changes everything you do about your day-to-day routine, because at 3 o'clock, you can make choices about 6, which you could never do before without actually having to spend an hour. Because even if the store's right down the road, it's an hour. It takes 15 minutes to get there. It takes 10 minutes to get back. You're in the store for 25 minutes, and you're wearing a mask and doing those things. Safety has made a big difference. And what's happened this year, retail has done a great thing. We have vaccines that are coming forward. But shopping behavior from getting that hour back is what's not ever going to change. Consumers now value that hour, and I can do something else, and this will come and I can trust it. So that's what I see going forward in the future. I think delivery, and last mile delivery specifically, is what's going to change most dramatically as we go forward in consumer shopping behavior.
As we're kind of wrapping up to the last few minutes here and ending with, of course, a slight plug around Brainify. So why do you enjoy working with us? Is it our team? Is it the results, the integration? What would you say is the main reason of why you've enjoyed partnering with us?
It's a really good question. I do appreciate you bringing me on board, here to talk about this. When I came to BevMo, you were already a selected partner. And one of the first things we did is we sat down and we talked about overall capabilities and personalization, what we could do with the website. It's changed our e-commerce platform unbelievably. We've rolled it out from the first time you touch Gateway and you come into our .com experience to dynamic email and execution. We do not have a single partner that is more responsive, more tied in with our business needs, understands our development, growth, and our exponential curve as we've grown and made the strategic choice to focus on e-com as well as growth across the digital spectrum. No other vendor partner has been capable, even remotely, to think about all those in context of all of our consumer touch points, from who are we going to target? What are we going to do from an SMS and push standpoint? How are we going to work with an e-com model? How am I going to track and have the same type of conversation with customers across multi-channels so that you're not having a unique conversation on the app as you are on .com, or your email is not reflective of what you're going to see when you come to your Gateway experience. And so that understanding of the business requirements, understanding of the business, the unique requirements in the retail landscape, which are so challenging. In this last year, it could not have been more challenging across the retail spectrum. You had the haves and have-nots. Can you adjust and audible to the changing business dynamics, the changing regulatory environment, the changing factors within society fast enough in order to survive and flourish? Or you don't. And it really became Survivor Island, and it's one of those pieces. And without the support, the capabilities, and the flexibility that your team brought to the table, we wouldn't have been able to do what we did in 2020, and we wouldn't be able to flourish the way we are in 2021. Data is a privilege, it's not a right. And so treat it respectfully and think about it as if it's yours or some family member of yours, and how would you want that data used? If you start with this in mind, you're principle-based as you go forward, and you will always make the right choices and decisions on that use. Personalization across all fronts can be invasive, but if you use it right, it feels comfortable and it feels known as opposed to out of touch. So be in touch, don't be in grip, be in touch. And pick partners who are responsive to what you need, because dynamics change so fast that if you do not have a partner that can turn around in a few days, if not hours, change that you need, your competition will. If you're looking for a vendor partner who never acts like a vendor partner, but acts as part of your team, then you want Brainify. They're going to understand your business. They're going to understand what your needs are, and they're going to be responsive as you ask for them.